Hello, thank you for checking out our second webinar. In this training today, we're going to talk a little bit more about advertising with social media, why you should be doing it, and how you can go about setting that up for your business. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. Okay, so advertising with social media. Just a little bit of an overview of what we're going to talk about. Knowing where to advertise, like what social media channels are out there, why to advertise on social media, the difference between an ad campaign and a boosted post, and how to set up a campaign. Okay, so if you watched our last webinar, you know we talked about the big six. So here on this graphic, you can see we only have 5 social media channels listed here, but I would add YouTube into this mix. So the big 6 that we'll talk about is Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then YouTube. So just to quickly touch on the differences between these. Pinterest, if you're going to advertise on Pinterest, it's typically if you have something that you want to sell. So if you are like a boutique or maybe a salon, think about the things that people go to Pinterest for. And if your ad would be relevant to that, then Pinterest might be a good option for you. Twitter is a little different. It's a little bit of a hybrid with there's active usage from every walk of life on Twitter. So you get teenagers to politicians. And so you don't see a lot of ad spend on Twitter. Not a lot of people utilize their advertising, but there are options for making it their advertising is a little bit seamless in the timeline. So if you have a brand that is a little bit more casual, maybe that's a good place to advertise there. For Facebook, on Facebook, that's where everybody is. So both Facebook and Instagram are personal and consumer focused. So it doesn't really matter what you're selling. Facebook and Instagram could be a good opportunity for you to advertise. And then LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is primarily for business networking, job searches, and when we talk advertising, it's really business to business, so B2B. And so if you have some sort of, a product that you think businesses could, or a service that you think businesses could benefit from, or maybe you are hiring, whatever it might be, LinkedIn could be a good option for you. And then with YouTube, we see a lot of YouTube ads for, say you have a soccer camp and you want to do trainings, and people are going to YouTube for information about this. You could put an ad on YouTube, pre-roll ad, and it would send people back to your website for your trainings. Okay, so why should you advertise on social media, right? So the highlights here, it's affordable. You can do targeting and retargeting, and you get some good insights about your audience. So you can really make a big splash with little cash when you're advertising through social media. The nice thing is you decide how much your ads cost. You can set both daily budgets and lifetime budgets. And this means that your ads won't exceed the number that you set for your budget. So just as an example, say you set your daily budget to $10. Once your ad hits $10 that day, it will stop serving that ad to people on that given day. And then it'll pick back up the next day. But that way you know that you can kind of budget for these social media ads when you're putting together your marketing plan. And then if you would set a lifetime budget, it's the same concept. So it will stop serving altogether once you hit that lifetime budget for the ad. One of the biggest perks of advertising on social media is the targeting options. So you can get really specific with the audience that will be served your ad. So we'll go through it in a little more detail later on in the presentation, but you can target by every demographic. You can target by interests and locations. You can target specific people. The options are really endless. And then there's also retargeting options. So We'll talk about pixels a little bit later, but it's basically a little bit of code that you copy and paste into the back end of your website, and you will add that pixel to this is on Facebook, excuse me. So you'll add that pixel to your Facebook ad campaign. And then when someone visits your website through that campaign and then goes back to Facebook, they can be served your ads. So say you're selling a car. If you put a pixel on your ad campaign and it sends somebody to your website, they can, and then they go back to Facebook after visiting your website, they're going to get served an ad for what they were looking for. So hopefully it just is one thing that keeps you top of mind. And the nice thing too is that it allows you to really track the effectiveness of your ads, because you can really look at your insights and see who the types of people are, how they're behaving, and really what the demographic is of people that are interacting with your ads and then going to your website. So it's nice to get a good idea of your audience, how they behave, and if your ads are converting. And that's the nice thing about social media, is you can really track all of that. Okay, so boosting versus ad campaigns. We get a lot of clients that don't really know the difference between these two. They know they should be advertising on social media, and they're active on their business's Facebook page, but they just don't know the difference between what boosting and ad campaigns are and which one should they be doing. And really, when it comes down to it, they have similar purposes, but there are better situations to use each of them. So we'll go through each of these in a little detail, and I'll run through examples on how to set them up. Okay, so boosting a post. This is just kind of a step-by-step on how to boost. Okay, so how to boost. So I've chosen this Richwood marketing post that we put up in February to just kind of run through an example. So we're going to go here in the bottom. We're going to go here in the bottom, and we're going to click Boost Post. So then this will come up, okay? And there may be kind of announcements from Facebook here if there's something going on. And sometimes these are nice to know, if there will be issues with your ad serving. So then we basically go through each of these functions and choose our options. So for this, we're going to boost it to get more people to react, comment, and share. We are going to choose to have people learn more, because we're going to send them to our website. The link will be richwoodmarketing.com. This is not considered a special ad category, but sometimes there are, because we're technically in this ad, we're not pushing loans. We are pushing the billboard, the design that we did. So as Richwood Marketing, we're saying, we did this billboard. This is not an ad for Richwood Bank, if that makes sense. But if you are doing kind of one of these specific categories, you'll want to click that, and it'll choose some options that there may be special options that you need to go through when creating your ad. Okay, so targeting, we'll go ahead and we'll target this age range, and then we can also choose, people who like our page, and et cetera, et cetera. So we'll choose people in our local area, and we're going to do a 30-mile radius around Richwood Marketing. And then we're going to choose to have this ad run for 5 days, and I'm going to do a total budget of $50, let's say, and it's going to give us that estimated people that we're going to reach. So this is nice to know. You can go ahead and make decisions about your targeting, and maybe I could make this a 50-mile radius, and then that's going to change that number. Typically, it changes that number for how many people you're going to reach. So like if I went back to $10 a day, this changed to less people per day that it's estimating will reach. And then it gives you a little overview of, you will spend this much, and this is how long it's going to run, just so you make sure that your ad is exactly how you want it to be. And then we're going to choose the account that we want here. We're going to go with, I can't see Richwood Marketing. So we're going to do Richwood Bank, and you'll see there's that pixel that we talked about. And, make sure that make sure that all of your bank information is correct. So then you can get a preview of what this is going to look like in your mobile newsfeed, on Instagram, because Facebook owns Instagram, and etc. So this isn't a video, so these won't apply, but, oh yeah, well, I'm sorry. It can be at the bottom of these videos. Okay, and then we would click boost when we're ready to go, and it'll run for that amount of time, and you should be able to get some insights on how that is doing. So that's the basics of how to boost a post. Let me get back to my slideshow here. Okay, so this is, like I said, just a step-by-step on how to boost. And we went through that. So, okay, but what content should you be boosting, right? So just kind of follow this rule of thumb. Like, is one of your posts doing really well organically? So you went ahead and we posted that, that billboard that we had designed, and it got quite a bit of engagement. Maybe it was getting some shares, likes, and it's doing well on its own. That is the kind of post, the engaging posts. Those are the ones that you want to put money behind, because, like it says here, like it means it's already meaningful to your audience. So when you boost it, it's just going to do that much better, and you'll get inexpensive clicks because Facebook's algorithm won't have to work as hard to get people to notice it because they already want to see it. Okay, so now we'll get to an ad campaign. So that was boosting, and now we'll talk about these a little more targeted, a little more specific ad campaigns. So again, this is just the walkthrough of how to set it up, but I will go ahead and show you. So for this purpose, we're going to go to Richwood Coffee. So here's some campaigns that we've run in the past. To start a new one, we're going to click Create here. And I already started one. I have it kind of automatic. I've got it set up, and we'll just kind of walk through what I did. So for this campaign, we're going to say it's a hiring campaign. So let's say we're hiring a barista. We want to get some website traffic. That's what we want we want people to go to our website. We want them to look at the job description, right? So there's a lot of different options here, and the nice thing about Facebook is it gives these kind of this information on why you should choose each of these. So we're going to go ahead and choose traffic, okay? And we're going to run a split test. So a split test is basically Facebook's going to we're going to make 2 different ads, and Facebook's going to optimize the delivery of those ads. So if one ad seems to be doing a lot better, Facebook's going to allocate more of our budget to that ad. And if the other ad is not doing as well, maybe we go back in 2 weeks and when we look at the insights for this, and we change out the creative for that ad. But we'll go through how to set this up. So, and there's other options for the split test. So you can choose different audiences, you can choose different deliveries and placements, but we're going to choose 2 different graphics, so different creative. Okay, so we'll continue on here. And again, we're doing this ad for more traffic to our website. So we chose website here. We're not going to do a special offer, but you could choose that as well. As we talked about on the last slide, we can choose how we want our split test to be performed, and we're going to choose creative. So this says here, understand which creatives your audience is most likely to engage with. So which types of ads, which type of ad creative does my audience respond the best to? And then here, we're going to get down to audience. So this is where it gets fun with Facebook ads. So an ad campaign, you can get very, very specific with the type of audience that you choose. So we could choose a saved audience if we've already done one before. So this one, we have a target audience that we typically use for Richwood Coffee Facebook ads, and that's coffee people is what we called it. And these, we've put specific targeting to people that we know like coffee and that would respond to our ads. But I created a new audience for this one. So so what I went ahead and did is I chose people that are living in or recently lived in a certain location. And there's other options for choosing locations as well. So like if you are kind of a destination, or you have like an event at certain times of the year, if people are traveling to your location, you could choose that option. But we're going to choose living in or recently lived in this location. And we know we have coffee shops in Delaware, Marysville, and Richwood. And I'm sorry, I didn't mention this. What the ad we're hiring for is a barista in Richwood. So we don't necessarily want to put Springfield, even though we have a Springfield office too, because likely someone's not going to drive all the way from Springfield to be a barista in Richwood. But they might drive from Delaware or Marysville. So we're still going to choose those options too. And then we're going to do ages 18 to 65. We're going to do men or women. And then when we get into the detailed targeting, what I chose here was some interests that people have. So coffee and coffee houses. But you can also choose by all of these different demographics. So education levels, financial, you can do different income levels, life events. So if you're a jeweler and you know somebody who is in a long-term, or you can target people that are in a long-term relationship. If you are a wedding photographer, you can target people who are newly engaged. I mean, there's just a million different options here. And you can target, the different industries that they work in. If your business is specific to certain industries, it can go on. And you can even get down to like which devices do they use. Do they like soccer? It's just so dang specific. So there's a lot of options there, but we just chose people that like coffee and people that like coffee houses. So you can add a connection type. So we're not going to add one here, but you could target specific people who like your page, the friends of those people, or you could target people that don't like your page at all. Or if they're using your app or they've responded to one of your events, maybe you can choose options there. So, and then if this is an audience that you want to use in the future, you can save the audience. And then you don't have to go through this entire process again. Okay, so placements, we're going to choose automatic placements, and that means Facebook's going to give its recommendation as the ad is running on how it will be served, and it will basically allocate your budget based on what's performing the best. So we're going to choose that because we're going to trust Facebook here. So for delivery optimization, this is basically how you are defining if your ad is working for you. So we're going to look at link clicks, but there's also landing page views, unique daily unique reach, and impressions. So we want people to click on our link. We want people to go to our website. So that's how we're going to determine if our ad is performing well. So we're going to go ahead and do link clicks. And then we're going to do a budget. So we want our daily budget to be $10. We could also do a lifetime budget here, but since we chose a daily budget of $10 and a duration of 7 days, our lifetime budget's automatically going to be $70 here. So we're going to go ahead and set our budget in that way. And Facebook's going to give recommendations here on and some other details on how your budget works and what their recommendations are. So you can see here, it kind of explains how the budget works. So on some days, like even though your daily budget's $10, Some days people might not be active on Facebook and they might not click on your ad. They might not see your ad. So you might not reach that full $10 that day, but maybe the next day, people are very active on Facebook, and so Facebook will then go ahead and serve your ad a little stronger, and maybe you spend $12.50 that day, and it just evens it out. Okay, we'll continue. So this is where we're getting into our split test. So we're going to look at creating two different ads that are basically the same, but they're just going to have different creative. So what this means is that these two ads here, although they've got all the same information, the picture that I put on it will be different. So we'll be able to see kind of which one's performing better and which one people are engaging with the most. So we're going to look at ad A first. And you can change the name of it, but that's what we're going to go with here. So for identity, make sure that you have the right account here. So if you are a business that owns multiple, or you own multiple businesses, or you have multiple Facebook pages for businesses that you're running, make sure that you choose the right business here, because this is going to serve it to both this Facebook page and to Richwood Coffee's Instagram account. Because like I said, Facebook owns Instagram, so you can kind of hit two birds with one stone here. So the ad format we're going to choose is a single image or a video, but you can also do like a carousel ad. So you can do multiple photos. Say you are selling, t-shirts and you have multiple versions. You could put all of those on here. People can scroll through them, or kind of a collection. You also see this with, retailers and different things. And then you can do an instant experience, which is kind of a whole nother beast, but you can do kind of interactive ads. But we're just going to keep it simple and do a single image. Okay, now our media. So here's one of the images I chose, and you can go ahead and just edit the image if you want a different one there. And so I chose this "We're hiring at a Richwood branch" image with these coffee beans. And it gives a little details on what the best practices are for images. And then I can choose how I want this to be placed. Do I want this in all of these places, or do I only want it to be placed on my Instagram feed and my Facebook feed, or do I want it in stories and as a banner and that kind of in-stream video that I told you about earlier? We're going to choose all of them though. Okay, now we're getting into some more details about the ad. So here's the text that we're going to have in the caption, and you can see that here. The headline, the description, these are both down here. We want it to go to our website, remember, so I put our careers page on the website, and so when someone clicks the call to action here, the learn more, they will head to that website. It will take them right to the website. And then you can see here in this part what your ad is going to look like in certain placements. So this is what the ad's going to look like on the mobile news feed on Facebook. So when someone's on their phone, this is what they're going to see when they see your ad. If they're on their desktop, they'll see this, very similar. Let's see, in-stream videos, that's what they'll see down here at the bottom. We'll look at, you can look at all of these, but we'll look at then Instagram. This is what it'll look like in our viewers' Instagram feeds, Instagram stories, and you can change these colors, etc. So you can look at all of these and make sure it looks right for you. Okay, so here's the pixels we were talking about earlier a little bit with boosting, and if you remember, that's a piece of code that you put on the back end of your website to get some more information about your audience, and you can also retarget people that have visited your website and serve them ads again. So we'll continue to add B. And basically the only different thing that we did with ad B, we made sure that the identity was correct, we did single image, and we just changed out this image. So I did something a little more simple and just said, "We're hiring and we have the same exact text, have the same exact, here, let me get back to this. We have the same exact headline and description. It's going to the same website, same call to action, but we could change these if we wanted to. But we're going to keep it all the same because we just want to see which photo does the best for this ad. And also another thing about it is it kind of breaks it up too. So if somebody sees your ad multiple times, they won't just like, their eyes won't just glaze over, right? So they might see two different ad creatives and it could get their attention twice, right? Okay, so then again with the pixels. So that is how you go ahead and set up your ad. And when you're done, you review it, make sure everything looks correct. You can click more, make sure it's all good. Yep, everything looks right. And then we would hit confirm and hit confirm here, and your ad's gonna be serving. So when your ad is going, or you can really, with any of the ads you're doing, you will look in this part and you can make sure that it's delivering. It'll show that once you first submit your ad, this part right here is going to show that it's in review, and that just means that somebody over at Facebook and their their system is going to be reviewing your ad and making sure it doesn't violate their policies. And then if it does, it's going to be rejected, and it'll tell you why. And you can either send it for a manual review, or you can chat with somebody over at Facebook and make sure that it is, and see kind of what's going on and how you can fix it and get it running. And then once it's ready to go and it's delivering, it'll say that it's delivering here. So you can see all these ads are done, but you can also get some insights on it while it's delivering. And then, and you can change things out as you go. So you can edit these ads, and you can edit your ad that's currently running to, if you wanted to change out the creative, or you realized you had a spelling error, whatever it is, you can always change those things out too. And then to see how your ads are doing, we can look at, let's look at January through the end of February. So we had some ads running at this time, and you can see here, these are just all of our insights. So you can see how our ads were doing, the reach, the amount that we spent on ads at that time, the number of impressions that we got. And I mean, this is why Facebook ads are so awesome, because I mean, we spent just $120 and it reached over 21,000 people, and it was seen over 47,000 times. I mean, I just couldn't speak enough about, utilizing Facebook ads for your business. And then we see that 34 people clicked our links, but for the ads that we were running, that wasn't necessarily always the objective of the ad, right? So the one that we just did, that was the objective, but some of our ads have different objectives. And then you can get a few more details on kind of when this engagement was happening. And then just a little more detail there about the reach and how much you spent. And then here's some cool demographic data you can get. So really, it's pretty equal men and women that we're looking at our ads. And then you can split it up here too, but that's both of them together. And then ages, like we've got a lot of this 25 to 35 or 34-year-olds that are looking at our ads and interacting with our ads. And then you can kind of see what times of day we were getting the most, we were spending the most money on our ads, which means that's the time of day that we should be serving our ads, because that's when people are engaging with it. So and I didn't show you before, but there is a place on the back end when you're creating your ad that you can choose which times of day you want it to run to. And then we can see, which countries our ads are running in. And Thankfully, it's running just in the US because I don't think somebody from anywhere else is going to come and work as a barista at our Richwood location. But we can also see by region, so just Ohio. So that's good. That means our targeting was correct. And then we can get real specific and see which region. So we were running a lot of Springfield ads because we opened our coffee shop there. So this 98% of or 99% of the reach was in that area, which is fantastic. And then just a little more of an overview on the account. So that's how you look at kind of your account overview and how your ads are doing, and you can look at different time frames and just analyze it in that way. So again, here's just a step-by-step on how to do that ad campaign. Okay, so when is the right time to use a campaign? We talked about using a boosted post when you've added a post straight to your Facebook page and it was doing well organically, so you want to put a little money behind it. So when do you use an ad campaign, this really specific targeting and this complicated back end that we just went through? So as you can see here, you want to use an ad campaign when you want people to take action. You want them to check out your products and services. You want them to go to your online shop, or say you're doing some sort of training. You want to do an ad campaign that puts them toward that sign up page on your website, whatever it is. So if you've got something very specific that you want people to take action on, the ad campaign is typically the best option. And then insights. So we already went through all of this, but just as a refresher for what these terms mean, we went over it in our last video, but reach is how many people saw your post, it appeared in their feed. Engagement is how many likes, shares, and comments the post had. On your Facebook business page, likes versus followers. So anybody can like your page, but they don't always necessarily follow your page. So somebody can like it, but then they can unfollow it if they don't want to see updates in their feed, but they can still be a liker and not a follower. That makes sense. Basically, they want to be friends, but they don't want to see your stuff, right? And then, impressions and reach can mean different things on other platforms, but for the most part, these are the basic terms that you're going to see when you're looking at your insights. Thank you so much for joining our second webinar here. And if you have any questions, please reach out to the Richwood marketing team. We'd love to walk through some other advertising options when it comes to Facebook and just what are the best ways to set this up for you. And check out our next video that is about driving traffic to your website. What are some other ways we can get traffic to your website?